All right, guys, welcome back to Ars Archive Podcast. I'm one of your archivers, Jeff.
I'm Madison.
And I'm Michael.
And today we have an amazing guest. She is a model, actress, influencer, and a digital media marketer. We have the phenomenal Erika.
Hi, everybody.
Yay! Thank you, Erika, for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
I'm so excited to be here.
Super excited. Yeah, no, definitely super excited to have you on the podcast and get a chance to talk to you. You've been killing the scene as always, doing your thing,
Thank
right?
you.
For anybody who doesn't know Erika, she is great, right? What are your socials?
My socials are Instagram. It is at eri.ka_Rose. My TikTok is at Ricky Rose. And yeah, that is pretty much it.
Love. So,
Go ahead.
okay. So, Erika, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So my name is Erika Rose St. I have been modeling for about 8 years now. So since I was 16 years old. And I just started acting this past year.
Nice.
I've got my bachelor's in business law, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in digital media management at USC.
Love.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's modeling been for you? The growth, the process been for you?
It has honestly been kind of a roller coaster. I think everybody's journey is different, and mine has definitely been something crazy because when I first started modeling, I was 16 years old. I kind of was just playing in front of the camera with my friends in high school, and I decided to upload those pictures on Instagram. And just seeing how social media has so much power and basically pushed me towards different brands and businesses, and how it really just pushes your visibility.
Yeah.
I really, honestly, I have to thank social media for starting my career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, what was the next steps in terms of modeling?
In terms of modeling, so I basically found a lot of my jobs through Instagram. So people will DM me, and then I would see castings on there. So kind of doing that research yourself is very helpful and beneficial. And so, yeah, I would apply to castings. I would show up, and the first casting that I did for Runway when I was 19 years old in college was Phoenix Fashion Week.
Ooh.
And so I tried out for Top 40, and I ended up making it, and it was just honestly a crazy experience because I started out as a volunteer there. In college. The platform came over to this club called the Business of Fashion. They were like, hey, we need some volunteers. And I basically was like, oh, like, I would love this. Like, it's what I kind of want to do with my future. Like, I love business. I love fashion. Like, my whole undergrad was pursuing business, and my side hustles with modeling and stuff was all fashion. So I was like, okay, like, combining the two is perfect. So
Like, there's perfect alignment right now.
oh yeah. And I see myself starting my own business in the future, but for right now, with modeling, it's just been a crazy journey. I started doing photo shoots, then I went to do Runway, and from Runway, it kind of opened up doors because it kind of built my confidence up. Yeah.
Okay. And then what was that journey like through Phoenix Fashion Week's Top 40 program? What are some things that you learned as you're developing as a model?
Honestly, I would say that it's a perfect kind of boot camp for models who are just getting in the industry, because it really teaches you like professionalism, how to work in business, just how to conduct yourself on a shoot, and just like the small little things of like etiquette. And I honestly think how to be comfortable behind the camera and just run like basic runway training on like how to walk, because at first I did not know how to walk at all. I didn't know what I was doing, but having that training was honestly really helpful. And then it kind of opened up other doors for me where I felt like more confident being in a room. And then I started working with Arizona Fashion Week, and from there there's just been so much opportunities and growth. And then from working with Arizona Fashion Week, now we're traveling around the country and we're doing fashion weeks all over the country. So
Nice.
LA Fashion Week, London next year, Miami, New York, and yeah.
That is awesome.
That's just so exciting. I love that for you. Because you started modeling so young, what is something you wish you could tell, like your 16-year-old self when you started getting into modeling?
So there's a couple of things that I would tell myself, but the first thing is having thick skin. Like when you get into the industry, especially so young, you don't really, like if you hear no, or if you hear that like, oh, like this isn't, like you're not really working for this specific shoot that we have, like don't take it personally, because everybody's looking for something different. Like just because you didn't book that job, it doesn't mean that you're not a good model.
Yeah.
Also having confidence, like confidence goes a long way. When you walk into a room holding your head up high and just the charisma and shaking everybody's hand and saying hi to everybody, making sure that you're the first person to get there, last person to leave, like things like that really, really do carry and translate when you're working with people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like I will say your runway walk is hella confident.
Thank
She
you.
owns the runway when she's on it. Let's go.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask about that too. Like, how did you develop your walk? Because you do have a very unique, specific walk to you, and for me personally, I think a lot of models, they struggle with finding that walk that is them.
Exactly.
So for you, how was that process for you? Like, how'd you find that?
So at first I had to learn how to walk traditionally, just like a standard runway walk where you don't want to swing your arms too much. You want to make sure that like your shoulders are back, chin is kind of down. So first it's just getting the basics down. And once you have the basics down, then you can start adding your own like personality and flair to it. So I basically learned how to do all these different styles of walks because I watched people. I watched different YouTube videos of old runway shows. I remember I went and I sat in the audience for a runway show and I watched all of the models who inspired me. And for me, I was like, okay, like I can add a little bit of personality. Taking a mirror and walking back and forth and practicing yourself and trying out new things. And even if it seems like a little bit weird, like let yourself get weird and let yourself try things out and play around, because you know what might be weird for you doing in a room, like brand new, like you've never tried it before.
Yeah.
It might be different, but when you're practicing it by yourself and then you go out there, like practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Of course. I
Gotta
love
be
that.
fearless.
Oh yeah,
fearless.
Exactly. Fearless and confident. Don't ever question yourself when you're on the runway, because then it'll show in your face. So
Yes.
yeah,
You are
just be
completely
confident. Even if
correct.
you mess up, just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep going. Nobody
yeah,
knows
exactly.
you messed up. But you-
Exactly. It was part of the show. So
I was supposed to say that. That was meant to happen. Yeah.
exactly.
It was
Exactly.
intentional.
It was planned.
So, Erika, as your career as a model has evolved, what do you see the role of the model being, not only now, but in the future?
So I feel like, because my mom used to model back in the day, and she would tell me about her experience. The traditional model back then was thought of as the hanger. So you want to be the hanger for the clothes. And that still deems true today. But I feel like with how the industry has been evolving, it's definitely a lot different, because not only can you be the hanger for the clothes, but you can be the personality to the clothes. You can give the clothes life. And that's why I love Runway, is because I feel like when you're taking pictures, that's being the hanger. But when you're on the runway, it's people being able to visualize themselves in the clothes, being able to see how the clothes fit, but also when you're bringing your own personality into it, it just makes it fun. And for the future of modeling, I can see a lot of basically old 90s type of modeling coming back. And
The Naomi,
bringing
Christy,
the Naomi, like the Naomi Campbell walks, and just like bringing more fun and more of a story to the runway. I don't know if you guys have seen like the D Squared runway that was recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the theatrics. Like I love things like that. I love when runway shows are more than just the walking up and down, and I think the public is actually asking for that too.
More for a narrative down the runway.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
People love a story, so
Yeah.
got to give it to them.
As a model, how do you find that the balance then? Because do you feel like some models go too far with it when it comes to trying to establish themselves on the runway, and it almost conflicts with the narrative that the designer is trying to showcase, or with the designer's vision?
That is why I always ask the designer, what do you want me to give on the runway? So that we can showcase his vision, how he wants it, but I can also still add my own personality and flair.
Yeah.
And it's basically you're collaborating, you're working together, and the designer wants his clothes to be bought, and you're the one that he chose to showcase that. So it's kind of working together to present that collection.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it's good to give some personality and just ask, make sure it's okay. And
Yeah. No, that's I agree 100%. Like, I love that collaborative process. But the reason I was asking that is, like, how do you find the balance then, right? It's like,
oh yeah,
yeah, you have to find that balance. But no, you gave the answer perfectly. It's like you talk to the designer and just have that conversation, communication, and figure out what.
It never
they
hurts
want.
to ask,
Yeah.
because I think designers honestly appreciate when people ask, because it's like, okay, like now I can kind of control a little bit more of the vision of what I want, and just that we have this understanding.
And I think it I don't know, this is my opinion, but I think the designers appreciate that too, in the sense that it shows them that you are intentional in wanting to present their designs and garments in the best light possible.
Intentional, professional, and it honestly helps you create a relationship with the designer, because you're asking them what they want, you're asking for their opinion, but also, they'll make their own opinion of you, and
yes,
rest is history.
And that actually goes a lot into what you said earlier. It's like establishing a relationship in the industry, or with different people in the industry.
Oh yeah.
How big has that been for you?
That has been one of the biggest things. I am a big advocate for networking, because second to social media, networking has gotten me so many opportunities. And think about it, like you're going to a room and you're talking to somebody and you're getting to know them, and even if it's not in a professional setting, like they're going to think of you if you're personable and you bring that energy, and people just know about you, they don't know what they don't know. You put your face out there, you're talking to people, you're getting to know people, like just networking and shaking hands, like is the biggest thing to get yourself out there.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a lot to do with relevancy too, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So you are absolutely stunning woman, and congratulations on your educational achievements and getting your
Thank you.
master's. Bravo. Well done. Well done. Well done. You say networking. Speak to that person out there that is not you, that is, go into a room and talk to a bunch of people. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh yeah.
What would you tell that person?
Martini Mates. Alcohol, liquid courage. No, I'm just kidding. Or is that just me?
That's just Jeff, guys.
I do love some Martini Mates, so
Right?
that's definitely one way of going about it. But in all seriousness, I used to be really shy myself, and coming out of your shell can definitely be something that's kind of difficult. But the thing is, if you don't try and you don't at least put yourself out there, the answer will always be no.
I love that.
Yeah, so do I.
I love that.
That's huge.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You can never get those opportunities if people don't even know about you.
Exactly.
That's just fact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes fake it till you make it. Like that's honestly how I did it. Like I was super shy. I remember when I first started doing Runway, like I was looking around the room and I was thinking about all these like conversations that I wanted to I would think about having with people, but I was too shy to say out loud. And then one day I was like, you know what am I so afraid of? Let me go ahead and just speak my mind and say how I feel. And honestly, from me speaking, people just just started to gravitate towards each other, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's been crazy ever since.
We're killing it. What's go ahead.
No, just I think it's really important to always recommend that, like, stepping into yourself
Yeah.
and like just being there and being present. And I love that you've had that in your journey and it's paid off so well for you.
Honestly, modeling has really taught me a lot about myself and my confidence and how to develop that, and just like kind of not being afraid of being myself. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the industry. It's so underrated that not a lot of people know or talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Always learning about ourselves, right?
Oh yeah, constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So, what is one of the hardest lessons that you've had to learn? Not only about yourself, but about the industry?
Oh, that's a good question.
Diving deep on this one. Let's go.
Let's see. Hardest thing about the industry is probably comparing yourself, criticism from others. You just have to learn basically to center yourself, and like you can determine what's right and from what's wrong, and what's good for you and what's not good for you, what jobs you want to take, when you want to say yes and when you want to say no. When you're freelancing, this is one thing specific to me. I know a lot of people go through this when modeling, but when I started freelancing and making that transition to being a paid model, like getting paid gigs, like establishing my rates and making sure that I'm not diminishing my value to make somebody else happy, but also like knowing when is a good opportunity, and just to like, okay, like, yeah, I want to do this just to do it,
How hard has it been to learn to say no to different things?
Oh, very hard.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very difficult. Like, as a former people pleaser, I'm being real here. It is really difficult for me to say no to things sometimes. Even now, I'm not perfect, obviously, but yeah, I feel like you just have to know when you're running yourself thin. Like, I'm also a workaholic, so I love to shoot. I love to be busy and constantly working, and sometimes it will be at the cost or the expense of my own mental and physical health. So just setting limits for yourself and boundaries, and knowing like, okay, like I actually need this amount of time to rest per week, this amount of time to dedicate to self-care and taking care of myself and making sure my space is clean and making sure I do my homework, like things like that. Like just making sure that your mental health and your physical health comes first, because without that, there's not going to be a you to do all the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's a huge conversation topic right now for just finding that balance as a creative or even a professional.
Exactly.
Right?
And it's more than just the modeling industry. It's everything. Like I was modeling, acting, going to school full time, working 40 hours a week, and collecting side jobs like Pokemons. Like I just was running myself so thin, and finding that balance and taking that break and being like, okay, like I actually need to step back from certain things so that I can be 100% of myself when I do things, instead of giving 50% of myself to 1,000 things.
Yeah. And what would you like? How do you like to center yourself normally? Because you work hard and all that.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you find yourself centering yourself?
A lot of self-care, like whether it's just like taking time to just lay in bed, or like doing a face mask, or for me, I love like when I'm stressed out, I love to clean for some reason. Like I'm a stress cleaner.
Yeah.
So like that just helps me, like that's my own personal way of dealing with stress and making my mind feel peaceful.
Yeah.
Also, if I feel like my space is chaotic, then my mind is chaotic. So
Yes.
Yo, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I can't work in an environment that is like messy, because then it's like my mind is just focused on the mess.
Exactly.
It feels like it's a reflection of
Exactly.
your mental
Yes.
space.
100%. That's how I feel personally. I think that might be the Capricorn in us. So
Yeah, probably.
What if
Goats.
it's my mess?
Goats. So
But I know where everything is.
But I know where
It's
it's
an organized
is.
mess.
It's an organized mess, yeah. I don't know. It's like, even if it's my mess, I just look at the mess. I'm like, that's how I feel right now. That's the worst.
I feel like it for a while, like I didn't really realize the direct correlation of my mental health to like my space. But like once I started just like, okay, like every day I make my bed. And this is something my dad taught me. He was like, okay, even if you've done nothing at all today, at least you did one thing and you made your bed. So like there's little phrases and sayings that are always in my mind that are running around. They're really random, but for some reason they always work.
I love that. Little
Yeah.
affirmations. It's so cute.
So you have been in the industry for a number of years. What's one of the misconceptions that you found about the industry that you would like to say, people think this, but it's really this?
Maybe I would think the difference between like freelance modeling and being an agency model. Like sometimes you never know freelancing. Like I have made a lot of money freelancing at times, more than I have with an agency. And then I've made more money with an agency at times than freelancing. So it's kind of just finding what's right for you, finding the agency that's right for you, finding the people that's right for you, and just honestly going with what you feel is right.
Yeah.
The vibe.
So let's go into the more acting side of
Yes.
things.
Yes.
How's that process been? But first, like, how'd you get into acting? Like, why the transition?
So this is the plus side of being with an agency, was that my agent got a call asking if they can use me for a role. They basically looked at all of our headshots, and I was recommended by Tiffany Ray. Love her.
She's
and
amazing.
They told my agent, they're like, can she submit a self-tape within 24 hours? And I had never acted a day in my life. It was definitely something that was very scary and very new. But one of the things I always love to do is just to say yes. I know we talked about saying no, but
I'm contradicting, but listen.
But in certain instances, I love to say yes to new things, like to new opportunities that I haven't tried, because you never know what you do or don't like if you've never tried it.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the opportunity. Me and my agent spent all day basically just filming that self-tape. We turned it in, and they ended up booking me for the role.
What?
And it was definitely a really crazy experience. You learn little things that you don't really like. The modeling industry and the acting industry are kind of similar in ways, but they're also very, very different. I've done a lot of video modeling, which that kind of helps me be comfortable in front of the camera. But with movies, like, you can't look directly into the camera because it's breaking the third wall. It's like little things that you don't realize, or like how you'll have 15 outfits of the same outfit for one scene, and there'll be pairs of the outfit that are dirty, pairs of the outfit that are clean. Like, you'll have to retake the scene maybe 1,000 times, but it's interesting to see the difference.
Yeah, I would imagine for sure.
That's great. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank
Right.
you.
In the movie role, the film role. I wasn't gonna go with that.
I just finished filming last month. So I'm really excited for the movie to release. I can't say too much about it, but I am really excited for you guys.
Is there
Now,
an
you say you
estimated
can't
release
say
date?
too much about it. Define too much exactly.
Not even the name
the
until
name?
it's released.
She signed that NDA. She reads her contracts. Okay.
That business law degree coming in handy.
Yeah,
Doesn't
right?
it? You're like, I know what's going to happen if I do this.
The Artist Archive podcast is proudly sponsored by Nine, the Gallery, the source of the stunning artwork featured in our episodes.
Specializing in investment-worthy art from Arizona artists, Nine the Gallery transforms space with locally sourced art.
By connecting businesses and collectors with exceptional artwork, they elevate the environments and the creative community. Connect with them on social media at Nine the Gallery and at ninethegallery.com.
And now back to our episode.
Exactly.
Is there a projected release date? Are we able to? We don't even know what it is, but just when to look out for a movie from
I
Erika.
honestly do not know, but they said sometime this year.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
so look for it this year.
And if we
Right.
follow you on social media, there'll be something on there?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I'm
if you guys
sure
follow me on social media,
it
you will
might come
see
up.
all the updates of everything that I can post.
Legally.
Legally.
Wow.
Awesome. So then what's the journey for you in terms of acting then? Next steps is what I'm asking.
I was fortunate enough to be signed to acting agency
Nice.
while I was on set. So
What?
I am currently working with them to find new roles. And right now it's a lot of work behind the scenes too, because I definitely want to get better at my craft, especially being so new in the industry. It's definitely like dipping your toe in the water and you're getting these butterflies like when I first started modeling and I did Runway for the first time. It gives you that thrill, and I really want to make sure that I'm taking the right steps to be the best actress that I can be.
Yeah.
So whether that's taking classes or doing improv classes and things like that, I feel like there's always a way to get better. Watching videos, just practicing facial expressions, reading books about acting. I feel like doing your research and just watching can help you become a better person in whatever field that you're in, whether
Yeah.
it's modeling, acting, your
Absolutely.
professional career. It's something that translates across the board.
What's like your dream role, whether that's like a character archetype or like a type of genre? Where do you want to land as of right now?
I would love to do like a really serious, like I love watching dramas. So just like kind of tapping into like a more serious role would be kind of fun. Also a superhero movie, but that's like
Marvel.
I would love that, but
Who would be your dream Marvel character?
that's hard.
Let's say Marvel was like trying to do a whole new cast for all their characters and they're looking for new talent.
I'd want to create my own superhero. I don't know.
Okay.
Like one they
Go.
haven't written yet.
Exact. Or maybe a villain. I would actually love to play a villain. Like I want to tap into like something that's different than my normal personality, because I feel like I'm a really nice person when you meet me, but I kind of want to just switch it up, you know? Not in real life, but like on camera.
You want to let out that inner villain that's always been there, but
Exactly.
just hasn't
My
hasn't
true
been able to
colors
come
are
out.
showing.
Yeah, right.
Send a recruiter over next week. No problem.
That's so fun. I love that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, you have a master's in social media.
Oh, in digital media management. I'm
Digital
actually
media
graduating
management.
next semester, so I'm really excited.
What? Props, congrats.
Yay.
Wow.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work.
I tell
Is-
you, you are the total package. I am thoroughly impressed. I did not know that. It
Oh,
just blows
Thank
me
you.
away.
Thank you.
So, with all of the things that are going on, if you walked for everybody in the Valley, Phoenix, Arizona, you've walked them all. What are some of the things that you've really, really enjoyed about these shows?
Yeah.
I honestly, my favorite thing is meeting people, like the whole networking aspect, like meeting my best friends through modeling. I currently work with my two best friends and roommates, Pascal and Vera.
The trio.
The trio, the Holy Trinity.
Truly
Love
Trinity.
them. Love
Holy
them down.
Trinity. Whoa, all right.
But yeah, so I met my roommates through modeling. I currently work with them with Arizona Fashion Week, and we're all signed to the same agency. So I really just enjoy the personal aspect, but I also like channeling a different character or a different person when I'm walking. Like, I feel like when you meet me in person, sometimes I'm a little shy, but when I'm on the runway, it feels different. I channel a different energy, and I get to just
The lights
be
hit
someone
and
else,
something
if that makes
clicks.
sense. Or be myself, I guess.
Yeah.
My
Totally
true
get
self.
Yeah. What's like the runway ritual for you?
Oh, I always have a moment of silence, like 10 to 30 seconds for myself. And people say I have like a serial killer look. Like, that's really bad. But like I'm just like, I look really angry. But it's like peaceful for me. It's like, it looks angry on the outside.
Villain. Hold on.
I was about to say, that's a little alarming, Eric. You're like, I'm super nice, but I'm going to look like I'm going to kill you.
You know what?
Channeling the
She's
real
serving.
me.
She's serving.
I'm channeling. I have to serve looks. So I'm holding up all that energy. I'm penting it up, just so that I can release it when I get on stage.
Oh, I like that approach.
Okay.
I do want to bring it back to a specific moment that I will never forget. I think you definitely channeled everything you just said. The Kenneth Morales show with Arizona Fashion Week. Year 2023?
Yes, 2023. It was
23. Yeah. One, the casting for that. Walk us through that, because I know
Oh
you
my
know exactly what I'm
gosh.
talking about.
That was one of the scariest castings that I have ever been a part of. And it was very eye-opening, because you'll see a lot of designers, especially with Arizona Fashion Week, they have their celebrity designers, and they'll basically have them fly out from LA to present their collections. And whether it's from LA or New York or Miami, you have all these different designers from different locations who are used to different types of models, you know, like, or different standards in the industry. Arizona's pretty much more so like a brand new modeling industry that we're creating out here.
Yeah.
And I love it, because it gives me an opportunity to be able to shape the industry.
Yeah.
Versus like someplace more established like LA and New York, where the industry has been there for years and years and years, and people do things a certain way, and they have their, like, if you're not, like, I don't know, there's just so much with different locations and how they're already established, and breaking into the industry is a lot harder no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Versus like in Arizona, where it's more chill, more relaxed. You kind of, it's easier to break into the industry, but I think it's more impactful to be able to impact the industry, basically. But with Kenneth Barlas, I love him so much. We actually did a show with him in San Diego recently. We were walking down the runway, and this is his first time meeting all of us and being in Arizona. And all these models are lined up. There's about like 30 of us. And it was just like, no, because we're all trying to see who is going to come out of the private jet, who is going to open the show in the private jet. And he was looking for something. And
I'll say the designers from out of state, especially the celebrity designers, it's very cutthroat.
yeah, it's cutthroat.
They know exactly what they want, and they don't settle for anything less than that standard that they're looking for.
Exactly. So that's why I remember I was shaking. I was shaking in line, but he was like, I need somebody to make me feel something. And it was my turn. There was like 12 girls ahead of me.
Yeah.
And it was finally my turn, and I was like, you know what? Just slap your hand, stop shaking. You're going to kill it. Just channel the energy that you know that you have inside of you. And I ended up walking. I gave it my all, and he told them to grab the coat.
Yep. Now I remember that, because the first few models, I was standing right next to him, and he was just like, no, 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 no. And I remember he's like, is it really that difficult? Like, I'm fine. I'm looking for that right thing. And he was very just, he didn't hold back. He didn't sugarcoat anything.
Well, sounds like him and I'd get along just fine.
And I feel like that's how the industry is sometimes. It's like, yeah, you have to have that standard.
Exactly.
And they don't mess around. And I remember everybody, yeah, he was just cutting in deep with the models. And you walk up, and then you walk that walk, your walk, you get that look, the very serious.
I remember too. He was like, pretend that you have the coat. Mm-hmm. And so we're all walking around with our arms, like we're like, what do we do with it? Because we didn't have a coat on. We just had to pretend that we had it on. So I remember he was just like, make me feel something, and I just tried my best.
And when you walked, he was like, that's it, and we're done. She's doing it, and
We're done.
Nailed it.
It was definitely an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I feel like that was one of the moments of my modeling career where I was like, oh shoot, like I remember feeling this level of joy inside of me. It was kind of like a certain level of gratification, because I was like, damn, like maybe I'm that girl, but like
Wait, hold on.
but in all seriousness, like it was definitely a moment where I was like, okay, like maybe I am who I think I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, when you did, at the actual show, when you walked out the private jet, it caught everyone's eye. It was, like, iconic.
Uh-huh.
So, you know.
It was actually one of my favorite runway shows I have ever walked. So
Whoa.
Nice. Icon behavior.
Icon behavior only.
Only.
All right? Only. Yeah, I think like holding yourself up to like high expectations, and I think as you were saying, because Arizona's a newer industry, I think with especially celebrity designers, what a lot of people forget is that when you're still established in an industry, what matters is time. So like when he's like going through all of you guys, it's like I need to get this done in the shortest amount of time and see exactly what I need, because I have another thing to move on. Yeah. And honestly, because it seems like you understand like time matters insanely in the industry. And it's not because like you don't fit it. It's like I don't have time for this not to fit right now.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I also think it's interesting too, because once I started traveling out of state to different runway shows and seeing how people's productions moved, it really opened my eyes, and like I wanted to bring that energy, like that modeling energy, back to Arizona in terms of professionalism. Yeah. So yes. I've seen what I like and what I don't like with different productions, different models' walks, and just anything in general. I just absorb all of this information around me, and then I basically get to determine how I want to act and how I want to present myself to the world when I'm either back in Arizona or I'm walking another runway show in a different area.
I love that.
This episode is brought to you by Martini Mates. Can't be bothered to make your own cocktails? Try Martini Mates ready-to-drink cocktails. It's veteran-owned, dairy-free, gluten-free, and hassle-free. Scan the QR code to get a location near you. Cheers, mate. It actually brings me to a few questions. One, what are some things you've learned that you want to share to younger models who are starting their career as models, starting to pursue modeling?
I would basically tell them to find your style, find your confidence. I know I've said a lot about confidence, but it's a big thing, not only with modeling, but in general. Finding that confidence and determining how you want to present yourself as a model is really important, but also when you're first starting out, say yes to all those opportunities. Like, try different things, build up your portfolio. You want to try to get as many different styles of photography on your portfolio, or whether it's video or trying something new. You want to build that up so that you can learn how it is in different sectors, and then look at your pictures, reflect, and then see, okay, what can I do better? What did I do well? So don't only criticize yourself, but also congratulate yourself on your wins.
That's a really
That's a
important
good
thing.
one.
I think even I forget looking at my own work. So, no, I'm like, it just wasn't good enough.
I think
Sorry.
every creative forgets to congratulate
Exactly.
themselves on wins.
100%. Being in the creative industry, you can kind of get lost in whether it's comparison of you to others on social media, or whether it's criticism of your own work. I feel like it's very, very important to keep that spark alive, not only to congratulate yourself, but also go out into the industry and find inspiration. Like, remember why you love doing what you do.
Yes.
How did you start to love it? And then go back there. I started to love Runway the first time I sat down and watched a Runway show when I was volunteering. And I remember looking up at that stage and I was like, that's going to be me one day. Yeah. And every time I sit down now and watch Runway show, I don't get to do that very often now, but whenever I do, I get that same feeling in my chest, and it really inspires me, and it reminds me why I do what I do. Remember your why. Remember your purpose. Remember what you want your end goal to be.
I really love that.
And for me, I don't really have an end goal. I feel like I'm constantly evolving, but if that's your case too, then just let yourself be, you know?
Go discover more, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Just go for more.
I would almost say like your end goal right now is to grow. So
Yeah.
explore all
Growth.
these opportunities to keep growing and just
Exactly.
evolve.
I honestly love I love what you said about growth. It's also like impressing myself, like with what I can do and what I can take on and what I can handle. So yeah, I think it's very, very special.
Yeah. Don't you love those moments when you do something, you're like, dang, I did that.
Exactly.
Dang, I'm pretty good.
Had that a couple
Exactly.
times.
Yeah, same. So another question I did actually want to get into is, how have you been able to build and develop your brand as a model, actress, and with your marketing and PR work, and just bring it all together to make it you?
Honestly, I think that everything with the industry is kind of marketing. So I love having a marketing background. I work at a tech company and I do marketing for them, but I also do marketing for different companies around the valley. And I think that... What were you saying again? Sorry, what was the question?
How do you tie in everything that you do to develop
Oh, yeah.
your brand, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically with marketing, I've learned to treat myself as a brand. And I learned how to market myself as a person. Because, with marketing, you can market a product and you're just like, okay, like this is all the good things about this product. It's kind of doing that, but with yourself.
Yeah.
And showing your talents and your skills and what you've achieved. So I do that on social media, and I push out what I can do. I've made my own portfolio on Adobe Portfolio.
Nice.
And this was before I even had an agency. I basically try to find ways how can I push myself out into the industry? How can I get more and more people to know my name?
Are you talking about on Linktree, the portfolio one? You did that?
Yeah, I did
Girl, you go.
Check out my Linktree.
It's hard work.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot of hard work. But honestly, if you're willing to invest your time to do something for yourself, that's the best investment that you can make.
True. The Artist Archive podcast is brought to you by Curry Fragrance. Curry Fragrance is the fragrance that embodies the delicate balance of clean freshness and timeless femininity. For the woman who radiates effortless grace, understated elegance, and quiet luxury, Curry Fragrance is your signature scent. It's more than a fragrance, it's a reflection.
That's solid.
What are some flaws?
I'm
Jeez,
crying.
you're smart, you're beautiful, you got all this sort of...
You crack me up.
Goodness.
Answer is none.
Nothing. What do you
Nothing.
mean?
Yeah,
I
what?
am me.
What advice would you give for someone who is just starting and they're like, okay, I need to build my brand? How do I do that?
Oh, yeah.
With building your own brand, I like to do something called a brand archetype. And basically, you think about what your brand is saying to other people, what your brand means to you, what's your purpose, what you like to do, what you're good at, and what you can give to the world and what the world needs now. So you combine all of those things. If you write that down on paper and you think, you can really create your own personal brand. So I learned that in marketing. It's called Ikigai. It's like a Venn diagram chart of how you can find your purpose and showcase it to the world, essentially.
I think we could probably get into a very long, in-depth
seriously,
conversation
you're
about
gonna have to come
branding.
back 'cause we're going to have a long conversation about that.
On the next episode, let's talk about branding.
I can get into branding. Like
Yeah.
that is my
The bread and butter, right?
Same.
exactly my bread and
Background.
butter.
Graphic
Yeah.
design.
Yeah, branding.
Welcome back.
That's I love branding. I really do. But that really is a whole other topic that we could dive into. But
Exactly.
save that for a future episode.
Absolutely, because you know
Yeah.
what? That'd be one of those where I just sit there and listen.
Girl. No. Something I've noticed about like a lot of the things that you're saying is that knowing, even in branding, it's like that value-based marketing, right?
Exactly.
Can you tell more about that?
So basically, everyone wants to get value out of something. When they're looking at your content, what can they get from you by watching you? So for some people, for me, I feel like they can get tips from modeling. They can see my work, my experience. But if you think about other creators, like how they give value to their audience, that's how you really create a genuine audience. Like you can have people just following you because you're pretty, but actually having people follow you because they see value in the information that you're giving them creates a stronger bond.
Absolutely.
And it creates more engagement.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that you're saying that because that is a big part of what I've been noticing. I think we're about to dive into some content marketing conversation right now,
Hold on.
but wait for it. But no, I feel like that's a huge shift in social media and in the marketing and in just digital media as a whole.
Exactly.
It's not just about content anymore. It's not just
Exactly.
about things looking pretty. It's not about just portraying something. It's what value are you bringing?
Exactly. I feel like 2016 was like the aesthetic, like
Yes.
like you see a cute picture, like that's what you're on social media for.
Tumblr at the prime.
Exactly. And now people want to learn things. People are so curious about like, how do I make this meal? Or like, how do I become a successful content creator? How do I become a social media influencer? How do I become a model? People want to learn all of these things, and giving that value to them through social media is what really drives people. That's the core, that's in our core values.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Do you ever like look on social media and you're like, I love that marketing strategy, and you're like, oh, so
yes.
why am I looking at it that way?
Yeah, right.
Like my favorite, I told you guys I could talk about marketing and branding for hours. My favorite marketing strategy that I've seen was Sabrina Carpenter's social. I don't know who is on her PR team. I need her because like her song Espresso, and then her coming out with espresso themed like ice cream and just like all of the little things where she can play off of, and like her changing her look and the way that she presents herself based off of marketing. It's honestly amazing how the way you present yourself can be pushed out to the world and how it can be received.
And she's really telling a story too.
Exactly.
In terms of whatever the narrative is at that moment, she goes full force into telling that story, telling that narrative.
Exactly.
And everything just, it's that value, everything just ties together, and it pushes that interest and attention.
Yeah, I really love alignment with
Ooh,
when it comes to marketing. Like I love seeing things that look really cohesive and come together, like really scratch your brain in a sense where like, oh, like that's funny. Like that's like, I see where you're going here. I see why this is like all intertwined. So that's my favorite part about marketing. But
Yeah.
No, I agree. I get annoyed when I see something come out left field. It's like, why did you do that? That was weird, random. Wasn't much thought.
Hey, I'm just saying, when Billie Eilish did that close friends thing,
yes,
so intelligent. I was like, yo, her team is so on clutch right now.
I love that. Yeah. I'm currently searching for a good PR team for myself, because right now I'm a one-woman show. I'm understaffed. So
I'm understaffed and we need
I'm overwhelmed and understaffed. So.
Girl.
Is that the development of the new business?
I mean,
growth?
That might be a...
We're talking about growth, right?
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
So what are some resources that you could recommend to me?
Girl.
Asking for myself.
Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend.
I was going to say that. To me.
In terms,
other than my encyclopedia that I keep here.
In terms of influencing?
Just sort of places to go, or like references, that kind of a thing. Or
so,
check out maybe XYZ kind of a thing.
Definitely following, if you want to do Runway specifically, Fashion Week Online is a perfect place to go, because they basically list out all the castings for models that are going on around the country, around the world. So it's a really good resource for models. Using social media, searching up like the hashtag model casting or Arizona model casting, you'll see so many things pop up in your area. You just sometimes you have to go looking for it and teaching the algorithm what you want to see. So then it'll push more casting calls out to you.
So the same thing could be said also for like auditions for acting. And,
oh yeah, 100%.
As well.
Or joining Facebook groups, going out and finding people who are aligned with where you're trying to go is also like my biggest thing with networking. So if you find like a club, I joined the Business of Fashion Club at ASU, and because of that one decision, it has led to so many different opportunities and has led to where I am right now. So sometimes it's that one thing that you do to push yourself out there, because I was going there by myself, and you make that one decision and it changes your life.
So what a good way to say is putting yourself in the right circles and the right places.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I started talking to people who had similar goals as me, that was the biggest game changer, because then you're exchanging ideas with people. Exactly. They have their knowledge and you have your knowledge, and you guys can share and basically grow together.
Finding your tribe is so important.
Exactly. Yes. I think that's very, very important.
Yes, find your tribe. Absolutely.
So, kind of going into the more creative side of things, how are you able to express yourself creatively when it comes to modeling and acting and the digital marketing side of things?
So
where does that creative side go?
Specifically for me, starting with modeling, I set up my own studio in my house, and I love to just do shoots for fun. I think sometimes when there's money involved and the thing that you love starts to become your job, it kind of takes the sparkle out of it. So just kind of reeling it back in and remembering why you love doing what you're doing, and doing something for fun and something that actually genuinely just scratches your brain and makes you feel happy, and doing it for you. I think that is one of the biggest things to help me keep my inspiration, and that's where I love to like play around with my creative side.
I relate to that for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, because at least from the photography side of things, you got the client work, you got brands, and regardless of, or even as a creative director, whatever you're doing, it's more specific to the client, right?
Exactly.
So you gotta give the client what the client wants.
Exactly. It's what the other person wants. What the client wants, and it's not what you want for yourself. Like, I mean, you get to just be the sole creator when it's just a passion project, and I love doing passion projects.
Same. We just let it all out.
Y'all don't need to look at my inspo boards. No. Okay. Move along. Move along. All right.
So I kind of want to go into some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
In a sense of talking about like providing value, things that newer, younger models need to know. Because I definitely think you are someone who is definitely more established and have established yourself in a position where a lot of younger models probably look towards you to learn from. You know, like a role model, right?
Slay.
Right. So let's say one of the questions is, what goes in a typical model bag?
Oh, I love this question. I have like 15 different like types of model bags.
Love.
So if I'm an expert, I know I'm an expert in this field.
I
I would
got
definitely first starting with just the bag. You want to get something with a shoe compartment underneath. That's going to be the biggest lifesaver, especially because with modeling, they always want you to have black heels, nude heels, and sometimes they'll ask you for boots. I always bring boots too. Depending on the job, they'll ask you for sneakers, but you don't want that to be all in your main compartment, so I put that underneath. Nude undergarments, pasties. Always bring a snack, some water, just for your general well-being. I always bring like a little makeup bag just in case I need to touch up, depending on whether like I have to come to the shoot hair and makeup ready versus if I have hair and makeup provided on set. And let's see what else. Any clothing that they tell you to bring on your call sheet. So yeah, it all depends on the job. So
because they usually let you know ahead of time of things to bring.
Exactly. And if they don't, always ask.
Yes, always ask. And I'm not a model, but I've seen firsthand the importance of bringing your own water and snacks.
Exactly.
Please stay hydrated and feed yourselves, y'all. I don't need you passing out on my set. Please don't do that to me.
Drink your water.
Yes.
Yeah, the number of times I've seen on just shoots, the model's energy just
Exactly. Like I know for me personally, like my energy will go down if I'm not fed, if I haven't had water, if I just feel like I'm not nourished.
Yeah.
Then whatever helps me feel like my best self, I want to bring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know
Another thing that means different things to different people. When someone says, "Come camera ready," could you just give us a high overview of what that means?
So when they tell you to come camera ready, that means they want you with your hair done, your makeup done when you arrive on set, versus if they have hair and makeup provided where they'll do it for you on set.
But they'll usually let you know ahead of time.
Yeah, and they will definitely
And what would you say is a safe look for models to go with when someone says, "Okay, come hair and makeup ready"?
First thing I would definitely always ask, just to see what the designer or what the creative director wants for that specific shoot. But in terms of makeup, I would do like just a base, maybe some concealer, mascara, just something basic, nothing too crazy.
Something build off of.
Exactly.
Okay. What are things that like designers and brands look for in terms of someone who is a professional model? Like, how do you present that professionalism? Little things.
I feel like I present it by making sure that I'm communicating the best that I can. Communication goes a long way. Also, making sure you show up on time, making sure you ask what's needed of you, and you deliver what you're there to do, you know? You give your energy, you give your all, and
You're there to do a job.
exactly.
Staying
the job.
present too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Other questions?
No.
Last question.
Oh,
Ooh.
the special question.
The
All
question.
right.
No question.
The one she asks.
Yeah,
Yep.
so on our podcast, we like to ask our guests to ask our audience a question to get a conversation going. So, what's a question you want to ask?
All right. My question that I would ask the audience is, what do you love and what's your inspiration?
Cute. Love that. I'm going
That's
to
a
tear up
good
those
one.
comments myself. Be like, yo, guys, here it is.
And you can read our responses in the comments.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
But you definitely heard the question, guys. Definitely go into the comments and share your responses, share your thoughts, and just get the conversation going. You know, we love a good conversation at Arts Archive.
Yeah. Erika, thank you so much for, yapping with us, honestly.
Right.
Thank you
I love
so
to
much.
yap, so thank you guys for letting me yap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Love having you on the podcast and just getting a chance to talk to you and catch up. I know at least for us, we've known each other for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And worked together
We
on a
go
lot
way
of
back.
different projects. So it's always fun and refreshing to get a chance to just sit down and just have a conversation, whether it's just to catch up or just touch base and see what's been going on.
100%.
It was so lovely to actually finally spend a little bit of time
I
with you.
I know. We've been running around in circles, but you know what? It's really great to just sit down and have a conversation with you guys and talk about our experiences. You know.
All right, guys, be on the lookout for Erika and everything that she has going on. Tap in with her on her socials, and see you guys at the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Yep.
Yep, that's a
Let's
wrap.
go.
Oh, I need a drink.